in the end, it's all about being able to be there and hear somebody out, and then adjust. Okay, let's see what the Bible says about it. Let's see if there's any Bible studies or any devotions that may help or cater to you a little bit more. Maybe I might not have the specific answer for you, but hey, I'm here to help.
In today's episode, we're going to meet Hunter, a young man that I met one day coming out of the church, and I thought he had a great personality to come and share with us. He shares great insights about the struggles and the good things about being a young adult in the church today. So welcome to Tea Talks. Hunter, thank you so much for accepting the invitation to be part of this podcast. I'm really excited to have this opportunity to get to know you. We actually never met until the day that I approached you, right? But I had seen you before and I was curious and I was like, I would love to get to know this young man a little more. So welcome and thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me here.
Awesome. Why don't we start with you? Who are you? What do you do?
Who am I? I am Hunter the Champs. I'm a 25-year-old, just getting into the groove of life, just trying to figure it all out.
What is adulthood?
Yeah, what is adulthood for real? Right now I wrap cars and do some lawn care with my dad as well.
Okay.
Yeah, just stay pretty busy. Yeah, I don't like to sit around too much.
Wrap cars. That is interesting. Like business cars, right? That they were doing advertisement?
No, like a whole color change. Also paint protection film as well. It's like a screen protector for your car, basically.
Oh, that's cool. That's
like,
really cool.
Yeah.
Got it. How was growing up? How was your family or even like your religious upbringing or no religion? How was it for you?
I'd say it was all involved into the church, My parents were heavily involved, whether it's Pathfinders, music, or just a lot of youth involved things. They were leaders of that. And then naturally, me and my brother, we just came in there every day,
just
every time.
Went with it.
Yep.
Got it.
Yep.
I understand how that is.
All that.
Was there ever a moment that basically you grew up in the church, that was all you knew? Was there ever a moment that you felt like you needed to have more than just your parents' religion, that you wanted to make your own? Did that ever happen to you?
No, I would say like I pretty much followed in their steps. They laid out everything that was right, and I kind of had a good eye on, okay, I should probably stay away from these, or this isn't the right way to think, or something like that. So I would just adhere to what they were teaching, and just paying attention to everybody else in the church as well, and just seeing how they worshiped, how they how they kept up their faith really.
So you were that good kid that never had questions?
I didn't have any questions. I was always like the quiet one in the corner or something like that, but I'm very observant, so I would always watch people and
So you were like the dream kid.
Yeah, I guess.
And I say that because majority of I actually think I can say majority go through a phase that they start like questioning, rebellion, and not very happy.
Right.
Were there ever time that you question, like you were very observant, you were in the church participating, but that is really different than having a relationship with God.
Right.
How was that for you? How was besides your parents, how was your relationship with God, your journey to get, if you have one? So I think the first question is, where are you with God now? How did you get there? Right
now, I'd say, well, it's been a rocky journey.
So you had some rocky journeys.
I would say more in like being consistent with my faith, making sure I'm talking to God and inquiring, giving him that time, because over the years I've noticed like everybody's like, make sure you put in that time, give him your time. He blesses you through all your ups and downs. He's always there for you, but are you there for him? Are you putting your time aside, not being selfish, just hiding away? Like growing up, there would always be that song, going to my prayer closet. And that would always come back up in my mind. My mom would always say it. And nowadays, like, yes, hiding that time, going into your prayer closet or just anywhere that's secluded from outside noise, and just really spending some time for him so you can hear him, basically.
So you feel like now you're doing that?
Yeah, I'd say now I find the more important right now.
Did you ever had like A moment that you can remember, like some event or something that pretty much changed your view for you to say, I want to do this for me now. And if not, it's okay too.
I wouldn't say I recall a specific time, but it's just
started
over
happening.
time. I just noticed like, okay, this is more important, especially after high school, I'd say, and trying to, you know, figure out my own path. I would just say that God has definitely helped through a lot of that, and I need to give back that time because I've noticed all that He's brought me through. Yeah, I don't have a specific time, but
that's okay. You know, some people that grew up in the church are frustrated because when people come from outside of the church, they have that conversion moment and they wish that they had that. And with time, I start realize you don't always have to have that.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, I would say like hearing my friends sometimes they would be like, oh, I heard God, or this is the time like God spoke to me and I heard him and I heard his voice or whatever. And I'm just like, I'm waiting for my moment. You know, like, am I doing something wrong?
I had a moment of conversion. It was a big experience to me, but I still don't have that thing. Like some people say, oh no, I was talking to God and God told me this. I'm like, oh, I want that. Yeah. I still don't have that, you know?
I was like, put some noise cancellation headphones. Like I really hear him. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Either for you or in general, what do you think are, because maybe you didn't have any struggles, but you have friends and you see what they go through. So what do you think are the struggles for young adults that are in the church today?
Mainly, I would say the youth. You know, a lot of youth are weaning out of the church, and then there's this big age gap. You know, you got the younger people and you got the older people that have their foundation and the way they have things going. And then some of the young people, that doesn't attract me so much, so I'm going to go somewhere else, or I'm just going to end up bailing out of church as a whole. But
research actually shows that 1 year after they graduate from high school, 70% are out of the church.
I believe it.
But that's what I'm trying to figure out, and this is actually the point of these interviews. Why do you think that is? Like you said, they don't find it too attractive. What is it that we are doing as church leaders? What is it that we could do different so we stop losing these young people? You know, like, what do you think is their struggle?
I feel like the church in general can be a little too conservative for how a younger person's lifestyle may be, or maybe like the old songs and hymns. Some churches are different, you know, but sometimes that can bore people out, or it's just they're not relating to the things that are being preached to them or taught to them, you know. So I would say the youth classes that I've been in growing up, they've catered more towards the younger crowd and gave some relatable topics and, you know, open for discussion and everything. But as a whole, when you get to church, it's like, all right, this is the way things are going from the adults, you know.
This is what it is.
You guys can join in on praise team and maybe help out around the sanctuary a little bit, but other than that, it's like we're not really catering too much to you guys.
For the sake of argument, when we are talking about worship style, music, and all of that, the fear from the older generation is that God's principles are going to be compromised. What would you say for that?
Yeah, I would say a lot in the reverence. You know, you want to keep everything, you know, just according to how God preaches it. But I mean, I feel like it's okay to tweak a couple things, but it's like, and all in all, like we're here for God. We're gonna continue praising Him. So I don't feel like it would completely deter from, you know, not
the delivery. The way that we deliver doesn't mean that we are putting God's principle down. Right. I agree with you. I just, you know, for the sake of argument, I want to hear from a young person's perspective, but I agree with you, you know. I pretty much know the answer. Right. But it's good because I can talk as much as I want. I am 48 years old, not young adult. You know, they want to hear from the young adult. That's why I asked the questions. I think the misconception is that for you to have contemporary music that is lowering God's standards, or God is not going to accept that. The question is, who comes up with those standards, you know? Because the Bible doesn't,
right.
you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So for these young adults that are struggling to stay in church, because church is boring, because either the style of worship or the message are not relatable, how important do you think it is for these young people to have connections in the church?
I think it's very important because it can also change your trajectory in your faith life. I feel like having somebody that you can go to, feel comfortable, that's outside of, your parental type of status, that, does well in the church, I feel like can go a really long way. I've had mentors or just people that are friends with my parents that, hey, come and share with me how you feeling, what do you think about this, whatever it may be. I'm just trying to open myself, try not to be too closed off to the help that's coming to me, because I see that there's presented opportunity for me to grow and step in and be like, hey, they're not all just one way. Some people actually want to see the youth grow. Some people actually want to help and be open, but I feel like it's the judgmental factor that comes out, and it's like, oh, you're doing that, like like, no, help me, like teach me, or just like try to start a Bible study or something like that. It's like
it's so interesting, because if you talk to the older generation, they don't believe they are judgmental.
mm-hmm.
But every single one of the young adults tell me that they feel judged. So it's almost feel like there's something missing there in the communication, Mm-hmm. And I think what you just said, mentors, it's so important. Creating the connections, having mentors, because sometimes the young people feel they're being judged, but that was not the intention of the older person. But because they are not talking, mm-hmm. It's like the young people are with the young people, the older people are with the older people. And because there's not a bridge there, they're making assumptions.
Right. And I understand it's hard to really understand, especially if you haven't gone through it when they were younger, but in the end, it's all about being able to be there and hear somebody out, and then adjust. Okay, let's see what the Bible says about it. Let's see if there's any Bible studies or any devotions that may help or cater to you a little bit more. Maybe I may not have the specific answer for you, but hey, I'm here to help. I'm willing to help.
And sometimes I think you can connect this with your friends. There's a place you didn't even want to go, but because your friends went, you want to go.
Right.
So when you have connections in the church, sometimes, even if at that moment you really don't care for church so much, it's going through a phase that the music is not the best, because church changed too, like right. Different worship groups and things like that. But just because you have a connection with somebody in there, you want to be there, because people are very relational. They want to be with people.
Right.
What is your advice? I'm going to ask like a two-part question, okay? One, what is your advice to a young person who is struggling? They wanted to be around God. They wanted to have God in their life, but they're not connected with the church. So what would be your advice for the young person?
To want to try to get into the church?
Basically? To participate, to feel involved, what is your advice?
Well, you have to be selfless, and you can learn that a lot from trying to create your own relationship with God, building up that faith, and likely you'll have this feeling. Like I had this feeling where I want to be involved just off my own, work that I'm doing by myself with God, trying to, connect with him and everything. It makes me want to be around more like-minded people. It wants me to be around.
So take initiative, right?
Right. And build your foundation, have your own faith life, your own faith journey, and everything else won't distract you from not going to church.
And the second part of this question, what would you say to the church leaders to be able to get more young adults involved and keep them at church and so on, not continue losing them? That's a good question.
That's a good question.
You're like, I don't have the answer.
Yeah, I don't really have that answer for
you as a young adult. What would you like that an older person had done for you?
Probably just help me like get a guideline on what I can do.
Mentor you.
Yeah, you know.
Teach you, guide you.
Yeah, basically that. Like just check up on you, you know, just hey, how are you doing? Not just the regular, hey, how you doing? All right, I'm good. Go about your way.
Yeah.
It's like the how are you really doing? What's going on? How's your work life? How's your gym life? Like whatever it may be, you know. Just inquire a little bit further.
Show interest.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
they care.
Exactly. But don't fake it.
No, I know. Yeah, I think once we start breaking this barrier where the older generation thinks that the younger generation don't want to talk to them.
Right.
And they realize, no, they do. They want to talk. They want to be noticed. They want to, you know, but we older people, we think that the first time I'm going to talk to you, you're going to open up. It's not like that. It takes time.
Especially not with me.
Yeah. Only the weirder here that can chew and say, hey.
Right. Yeah, especially how you introduced yourself to me and came up to me, hey, how you doing? I would like you to be involved in this. I feel like you'd be perfect, whatever. That's perfect.
That was okay.
I felt welcomed. I felt valued, you know, just present that kind of thing to somebody.
And you have to know how to do that.
Right.
Because some people would be scared with who is this old lady trying to talk to me?
For sure.
At the beginning, you're like, but I try to, because I did this a lot. So I already know that young people will be a little, so I introduce myself, I explain what it is, you know, so they don't feel like, oh, what is this lady?
Right.
But I appreciated that wasn't so bad. Thank you. This was a fun conversation. It was nice getting to know you a little more. Thank you. Because a lot of people that I invite, their churches are far, but your church is not too far from me. Right. I know I'm going to continue seeing you, and I'm going to approach you for us to work together more.
I look forward to it. This
was great. Thank you so much for coming.
I appreciate it. Thank you.